Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Iron Man issue 16. And this was actually a pretty great issue. I didn't know exactly how it was going to kind of transition to like Cosmic Iron Man God, but I do like how they did this. It definitely was a Tony solution to his problems of trying to fix the world and everything. So it's definitely going to be interesting seeing how this kind of like works out and shakes out. So we start off and we see that like Tony's space friends are on Earth now, pretty much like just chilling and seeing what's going on. Gargoyle's got his restaurant and everything, got everybody there, just shooting the breeze, pretty much figuring out that the original Human Torch can eat food and drink beer. And we see that evidently Frogman works there, and that Gargoyle kind of like outed his persona to them without his permission, even though he's just sitting there, still in his Frogman costume. But then they're trying to figure out what to do with Tony and everything, and they're like, we haven't been able to reach him. It's going to be kind of weird. Then, of course, they're running down other kind of space friends. Halcyon is doing math finals. Misty Knight and Scarlet Spider are kind of like out of the picture. Though they do congratulate Scarlet Spider for being Spider-Man, so it definitely helps to kind of line up the timelines of what's kind of going on. Rhodey, of course, brings up that he has like alerted the Avengers to what could potentially be going on with Tony. And let's see, they also got in contact with Reed Richards because of how their powers are connected to the cosmic power and what would be going on there. Rhodey's even talking about bringing in the Guardians and all that before things start getting rumbly, and we see that Tony pops up in New York, in Washington Square Park. And he's like, hey, goes back down to a smaller size, but we see that the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, also pop up, and it's pretty kind of a cool spread. I really like this page that they've done here. And it's cool because you see now Starbrand is still a toddler kind of here, whereas in the Avengers she's become late teens, young adults because of her power usage. And we also get Echo in there as well. That's kind of cool. And Tony's of course trying to lay down everything. Reed tries to figure out what was going on with Korvac, giving him all the information and everything. He's trying to bring up that he's like, hey man, we've all dealt with gods before. I mean, look at Thor over there. And he's like, yeah, this isn't the same. So then Tony and Steve kind of start talking, and he's trying to figure out how to bring about harmony without like pretty much making everybody the same. And it's like, yeah, that's a pretty big kind of thing to do. And Korvac wanted to take away free will, but he didn't kind of want to do that. And of course, since he's able to utilize the cosmic power, he starts thinking it's like all of his stuff is kind of trapped in his head. So he kind of wants to share that kind of thing with everybody. Let me see here. And then Steve's kind of like, Steve's trying to, of course, get to kind of speak a little bit more about the whole thing, but he's not letting him finish, and that starts pissing Tony off. So he goes bigger, and it's like, he's got no patience. Well, Tony, normally, patience level wise, is not one to be very patient. Now, granted, that's kind of amped up more in the MCU, regarding, depending upon what's going on with the story or whatnot. However, here we see that it's like, I'm done with this, and he's like, my gift is now in all of you, and he's like, put everybody's intellect up to Tony Stark genius levels. It's like, okay. And of course, he's kind of doing an experiment and doing it with just in the city at this point. And it's really kind of funny because Reed's then like, yeah, I think I've just become a little bit dumber. Or I just became dumber. It's like, yeah, what about people that are smarter than you, Tony? You know? And then we start seeing examples. We see like this couple fighting about certain things before they kind of get into a kind of and it's really kind of weird because they're first talking in normal kind of like speak, but then they start like talking like kind of Tony would on certain kind of subjects, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're good here. Then we see a dude trying to like figure out what's going on with his car while his mechanic is like, yeah, we can do all this kind of cool shit. And he's like, man, just do an oil change. While kids are then doing baseball and starts talking about like life and everything like that. And it's like, it's a salient point. It's like, sweet Jesus, this, oh my God, that, oh God, I mean, giving people the capacity to think of certain things is one thing. But he's done it so that everybody's kind of doing shit like Tony Stark. And a world full of Tony Starks would be horrendous. Okay? Tony doing his thing, okay, cool, fine, whatever. But you kind of then get everybody onto one kind of same page and thinking one kind of style. And if you can't think yourself out of certain boxes, like Tony doesn't in certain instances, you're screwed. So then we get to Jackson Wheelie, also known as Big Wheel, who wakes up from a coma and just starts going places. We then also see that Tony is talking with Patsy, and she's like, saying that it seems kind of wrong, and he's kind of like, you're not giving me a chance and everything like that. And I'm like, you've given this to everybody without their permission, and you're not really thinking for yourselves, as Patsy kind of brings up to him. And Tony's like, you know the old proverb, give the customer what they want, not what they ask for? I'm like, yeah, but if I want a peanut butter ice cream cone, and I get it deconstructed in such a sense that it doesn't even look like a peanut butter ice cream cone, like, if I go somewhere and I'm like, hey, can I have a peanut butter ice cream cone? Yeah, but I know what you want. But I want a peanut butter ice cream cone. No, I know what you want. And then they give you, like, a brownie sundae. I'm like, I like brownie sundaes, but I want a peanut butter ice cream cone. I don't know why I'm going with peanut butter ice cream cone. I'm not even really that much into peanut butter ice cream. Granted, I'd be into peanut butter chocolate ice cream. Okay, that's kind of weird and tangential, but it's interesting because Tony is thinking that he knows what everybody wants. And even though he's got the powers of an omniscient God, he still doesn't really know that. And then, of course, they see fucking Big Wheelie dude going all hambo jambo, and then, of course, they try and go and stop him. And it's like, what the fuck? He's, like, shooting shit around there. He's like, this quest is too great. And Patsy gets, like, shot and almost killed. And Tony's like, I'm not having any of that bullshit. Alright. God powers activate. And then, of course, Patsy's like, no, I figured out what he was trying to do, and he was trying to fix traffic jams and shit. And Patsy brings up, like, yeah, he was trying to do something good, but he didn't ask permission and just went fucking crazy ass on everything. And there's a lot of chaos, and a lot of people could have been killed because you don't just go into traffic and start fucking doing that kind of shit. You kind of start at a certain point, get the city and the people involved, and be like, hey, can we do this kind of thing? That works out, then you spread out and spread out. You don't just take a giant, big, fucking wheeled vehicle and start shooting laser beams at people's vehicles and hope that the traffic congestion works out well. And of course, Tony's like, I got this, and Patsy's like, you know who you remind me of? Korvac, asshole. So interestingly, we get down to business, and Patsy's talking to someone, appreciating that they're able to come on short notice and that they need their help, and that their objective is to not hurt Tony but to save them. And he doesn't guarantee, but he's like, we're gonna knock Iron Man down to an Iron Man one way or another, getting Doom involved. And that actually works out very well, and I'm excited to kind of see how that kind of works out. Especially since they had done, like, the infamous Iron Man, and Doom had taken up the mantle to do that. But people to take on cosmic-powered beings, Doom is one to call on for that. And I actually don't fault them with that kind of logic. It's a very interesting kind of story place to kind of do it, and it'll be interesting to see how he kind of does this, because Doom, yes, is a villain and does some monstrous kind of things as well, but he knows that an Iron God running around fucking with people's intelligence levels and making them as smart as him is not the best way to kind of go about that. Especially because that would probably dumb down certain people versus actually make them smarter and force them into ways of thinking that they're usually not naturally inclined to. And the great thing about building up a harmony is I'm thinking of a certain way and thinking in certain terms and everything. Then I'm probably group up with somebody else who's thinking of another way, and then we get those together and we get those jamming and working in a cool kind of way to produce something that neither of us had really been up to and thinking of before. That's that cool shit. And then that gets to somebody else having that kind of epiphany and being like, okay, this is my kind of style. They did this kind of thing, and then going that kind of way. That's the kind of cool ass jamming shit that I really kind of like. And Tony is thinking, this is how I do harmony. And he's just pretty much put it so that way people can, are like, we have to turn to other people that know cosmic power to kind of stop this because this is not working out well. And granted, I mean, nothing horrendous has happened yet, but you're seeing the inklings of what can occur with runaway intelligence of Tony Stark level's caliber without learning the kind of hubristic kind of lessons that he has. He doesn't understand that. If I suddenly got the ability to think in 5 dimensions, without working my way towards that, I wouldn't know how to do it. I wouldn't know exactly how the ramifications of my actions would be, and I wouldn't learn those lessons right off the bat. I would have to, like, do trial and error to kind of get there. Like, if you just have something plopped into your lap, it does present problems because you don't know, you didn't... Working to get to certain things sometimes helps you handle things. Not saying that it's always horrendous when, like, something falls into your lap, but if you just get something like that, there are going to be learning curves that are going to be kind of dangerous that need to be kind of set up for, and Tony's not thinking of that kind of thing. Not saying that, like, just, like, everything would go wrong if you're suddenly given something. In certain instances, somebody's able to pick something up and able to run with it and work with it pretty well. But, like, putting everybody onto Tony-level intellect isn't going to solve all the problems that he thinks it is. So I'm definitely interested to kind of see how this kind of works out and how Doom kind of works with Patsy and the other space friends as they kind of take on Cosmic Iron God, and where Tony will be at, and hopefully what lessons he will learn throughout this whole kerfuffle. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.